Investigation. Joining me on the phone right now is Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu of California. He's on the House Foreign Affairs and Judiciary Committees. First of all, Congressman Lieu, your reaction to the news, Jeff Sessions has essentially been fired.
Thank you, Jake, for your question. Look, Attorney General Jeff Sessions' hardline ideology was completely in sync with Donald Trump, except on the Russia investigation. So it seemed like the only reason Donald Trump fired him was to interfere with the special counsel's investigation. If that's the case, that could constitute obstruction of justice the same way that firing James Comey was obstruction of justice.
Well, you are part of the new Democratic majority. In January, you will all be sworn in, and Nancy Pelosi presumably will be Speaker. What will, I suppose, the House Judiciary Committee, of which you're a member, what will you do about it if that's your view?
I believe we need to be sending out, first of all, document preservation letters to the special counsel to make sure that during this transition there's no shredding of documents or any documents that are lost. We could also have hearings. We could also conduct our own investigation. We could build upon what the special counsel has done and then continue it in the House Judiciary Committee. There are a lot of ways that we can hold Donald Trump and his administration accountable.
Can you do that right now, or do you have to wait for the Democrats to take power in January?
If Republicans put country over party, we could do it next week. If they don't, we're going to have to wait till January.
Okay, so it'll happen in January. The Chief of Staff to Jeff Sessions, Matt Whitaker, will be the new acting Attorney General. Whitaker told CNN last year that he could envision a scenario where the new Attorney General could reduce Mueller's budget so low, make it so small, the Mueller investigation would grind to a halt, essentially. Do you fear that Whitaker, as acting Attorney General, will have that happen?
He is exactly the wrong person to oversee the Mueller probe. The whole reason there was a special counsel investigation is because there was a conflict of interest for the president to oversee this investigation through the White House. To have Whitaker there is exactly the same problem. And I also note that under the Vacancies Act, it is unclear if Whitaker could even be in that position. He is not Senate confirmed, and then there's a issue about what position he has, would it qualify to be under the Vacancies Act. So I think that is still somewhat of an open question.
Do you expect Mueller to act quickly with any possible announcements now that the midterms are over and the Attorney General has been fired?
I believe Robert Mueller is a very smart man and that he has contingencies in place. We're also going to be sending letters to both the Attorney General's office as well as special counsel to say if there's been any change in the scope of the investigation, they need to inform members of Congress and specifically the Judiciary Committee.
Do you think that Mueller's job is in jeopardy until Democrats take over the House of Representatives, presumably in January?
I do not believe Robert Mueller's job is in jeopardy right now. I think the president does see that as a red line. I do believe putting Whitaker in is probably a red line as well, but we'll see what Whitaker has to say. And in terms of firing Robert Mueller under Department of Justice regulations, he could still only be fired for good cause. He can't just be fired just because Whitaker doesn't like him or what he's doing.
You think that President Trump is not willing to cross the line to fire Robert Mueller or have Robert Mueller fired? Did I get that right?
I do believe that. And also, if the president believes that the only way to clear his name is for the Mueller investigation to clear his name, then he would not fire him, because otherwise there's no way Donald Trump gets his name cleared.
Do you actually believe that, or are you just trying to convey that to President Trump? You're trying to convince him psychologically, some sort of Vulcan mind meld here, that don't do this, President Trump, because you want to clear your name. Do you actually think that he has this red line?
I do, because I think he would have actually, in fact, executed the firing of Robert Mueller. I think he does think in his mind that the majority of American people would rise up against him, and that the Judiciary Committee and now Democratic control of the Congress would be a check and balance on his ability to do that.
All right, Congressman Ted Lieu, thank you so much. And presumably, congratulations on your re-election. I'm assuming if you're talking to me, you won re-election last night.
Yes, thank you.